好，歡迎翻嚟廣東話數獨啦。咁就上一次呢，我哋就做咗個數獨實戰啦。我嘗試去 solve 一條 puzzle，咁個題目叫做與大師的異同。咁基本上係呢條片啦。我由頭到尾玩咗一次嘅。咁今日呢條片係做乜呢？我想比較下 Sudoku Swami 同埋 Cracking the Cryptic 佢哋點樣 solve。咁首先我睇咗我師傅 Sudoku Swami 點 solve 先。好，咁第一件事佢做啲乜呢？ OK，here we go。咁佢做乜呢？第一件事佢做啲咩呢？佢一定係咁噶啦。佢一定第一件事呢，佢列晒所有 candidate 嘅可能性出嚟。嗱，呢一個呢，就係我同佢最大嘅分別啦。咁我都想解釋下點解我同佢會有分別。佢老人家呢，就中意一開波就列晒所有可能性出嚟嘅。咁點解我唔中意呢？我得一個原因嘅啫，佢一定會快過我好多嘅，真嘅。你想快，你學佢。咁但係點解我唔學佢呢？點解我寧願慢而唔快呢？得一個原因嘅啫，就係我覺得如果你一開波列晒呢啲可能性出嚟呢，我睇唔到啲 matching pair。好多時候你列晒出嚟呢，嗰啲 matching pair 會變咗 hidden pair，嗰啲 triplet 會變咗 hidden triplet。我覺得我冇可能睇到 hidden pair， 而如果用我嘅方法1至9基本檢查、逐行逐動檢查呢，係會揾到啲 matching pair 出嚟。咁所以我想 clarify 一樣嘢啫，我一開波點解咁慢，就係為咗揾 matching pair。但係阿 Sudoku Swami 呢，佢係中意一開波列晒出嚟嘅。OK， 好，跟住我哋去啦。咁我哋睇下佢開頭點樣解呢個問題咯。好，第一個睇啦喎。佢一開波咧，呢度揾咗個 hidden single 呢個2啦，咁佢會即刻填嘅。
Reason that's a hidden single is by virtue of what's called cross-hatching。
咁唔使睇啦，啲廢話嚟㗎啦。咁呢個廢話嚟㗎，咁簡單啲嚟講就係藍色填2啦。跟住我望住張貓紙，我 skip 一 skip 先。OK， 好，跟住佢下一步會有個5嘅，我哋睇睇個5。
Okay。And likewise, if we look in column 2, we can see that this cell contains the only candidate 5 in that column, and there。
咁佢呢個藍色 cell 會填5啦。咁呢啲其實呢都係基本檢查簡單嘢啫。跟住我哋去第4分02秒。
Next, what we have is a naked single here in this cell because there is only a single。
咁呢個唔使沉氣啦，呢個一定係填咗9咯，就填9啦。咁跟住再落，咁跟住2、3 matching pair。
3, and because that naked pair lies in block 1 and column 1, we can remove every other 2 and 3 from both the block and the column, just like that。
咁我諗呢個大家都應該睇得明啦。咁跟住呢，我哋去睇睇佢揾到一對 triplet， 4分57秒。
In my videos, you know that I like to cut to the chase. Instead of eliminating 4 and 7, leaving a 2 here, you can just straight away enter that 2, and here you can enter the 5, and here you can enter the 9。
簡單啲嚟講啦，佢都係留意到呢個147嘅 triplet 喺 block 2啦，咁於是就可以查晒147咧，就可以 cut to the chase， 填2、填9同埋填5啦。
Now that leaves a naked single on 3 up here, and then a naked single on 2 in this cell。
咁呢啲簡單嘢啦。
Next, down here in block 8, we have a hidden single on candidate 5. And the reason that's a hidden single is because these 2 5s block all the other unfilled cells in that block. So you can enter the 5 as a hidden single in that cell. And likewise, we have another hidden single on candidate 5 in row 6 because that is the only 5 in that row. So we can enter that. And now there is only one more 5 in the whole puzzle because we have 8 of the 5s filled in. And whenever that happens, you know you can enter that candidate in that block because it's going to be the only candidate 5 left in that block. So that is a 5. And now the 5s are all done. So before we go to the filters, I see one more hidden single down here in row 9, and that's on candidate 9 because that is the only 9 in that row。
咁頭先嗰堆咧都簡單嘢啫，咁填埋呢個9之後咧，佢老人家就由頭到尾玩咗一次嘅，咁我唔嘥時間啦，即係佢會由頭開始 solve 一次，講翻頭先啲步驟嘅，咁我會 skip 咗佢嘅，跟住我去7分34秒，咁佢係揾到個 lock candidate 嘅，我哋睇睇先。
already have 12 numbers filled in. So now let's move to the candidate filters. Okay, so here are all the ones, and we can see in block 2 we've got some locked candidates. One of those 2 ones has to be true.
咁佢咪查咗呢個1同埋查咗呢個1啦。咁跟住去到8分02秒咧，佢會做相類似嘅嘢喺個3度嘅。
Candidate 3. And again, we've got some locked candidates, and you can see this as type 1 or type 2. These 2 3s have to be false.
好，咁跟住我哋去8分21秒。睇睇佢做乜咯喎？喺個6嗰度。
Here on the 6s, we have a 2-string kite. We have a strong link from this 6 up to that 6. And we have a strong link from this 6 over to this 6. And we have a weak link in between. Okay?
佢咧就其實佢當 two-string kite，即係咧係 X chain 嚟嘅。呢個 strong link 係6啦，呢個 weak link 去6，另外 strong link 佢呢個6，咁所以呢個係6。我咧就interpret that as 一個 empty rectangle。Case 1呢個係6，掃過嚟呢個係6。Case 2呢個係6，咁所以呢個就一定唔會係6。咁其實就一樣嘅啫。你 interpret 佢係 two-string kite 也好，empty rectangle 也好，其實甚至乎係咯，其實都冇乜分別嘅。咁隨你喜歡啦。咁呢個跟住我又再跳一跳啦。9分47秒，簡單嘢啫。
Move on to candidate 8. And again, down here in block 8, we have some locked candidates. That means these 2 8s must be false. And
咁呢個簡單嘢啦 ，lock candidate。咁跟住佢老人家做乜咧？就去咗1005，我嚟睇睇啦。
Take a look up here in the top horizontal chute. You'll see that we have what's called an XY wing. Here is the pivot cell, and these are called the pincer cells. Now, there's a strong link between the 2 candidates in each of those 3 cells, and there's a weak link between the 2 8s in row 1, and there's a weak link between the 2 4s in block 1.
簡單啲嚟講，XY wing 可以查咗呢個7啦。咁繼續睇。
That means there's an effective strong link between the 2 yellow-colored 7s, which further means that any candidate 7 that can see both of them can be eliminated as false, and in this position there are 3. We've got one here, here, and here, and they can all be eliminated as false. Now that leaves a naked single here, a naked single here, a naked single here, and a naked single there. So now let's go back to the filter on candidate 1. And here we have another empty rectangle pattern. We've got a periscope shape here in block 6, and our conjugate pair is again in column 1. That's candidate A and candidate B, except this time we're looking at candidate 1. So that proves that the candidate 1 in this cell has to be false.
咁呢個empty rectangle 就同我睇法差唔多啦。Case 1呢個係1，呢度掃過嚟，所以呢個係1。Case 2呢個係1，咁所以紅色呢一格就冇可能係1。咁我哋可以繼續。
You can eliminate it. And what that does is it creates a naked pair in this block of 7 and 6. So we can eliminate that 7 and that 6.
咁呢一步我覺得大家睇得明嘅。咁之後會block 9得翻個6、7 matching pair，咁呢個可以查啦。咁跟住我真係佩服佢啊！咁大家可以睇睇佢跟住做乜。
Okay, let's get rid of that. Now let's go back to the bi-value cells because I can see an XY chain.
佢都幾黐線，我都唔知點解無啦啦佢 switch 到個 bi-value cell，跟住就會 spot 到 XY chain 嘅。spot 到 XY chain 唔出奇，但係冇佢講到咁易咯。不過一樣啦，其實我都 spot 到 XY chain 嘅，冇佢咁勁啫。睇睇佢點 spot 條 XY chain 啊！
So we're going to start up in this cell on candidate 7 and then connect to this 8, then connect to that 4, to that 1, and then to that 6, and finally to the 7. So the 2 7s are the endpoints of that chain, and so any 7 that can see both of them will be false, and that's this candidate 7 right there can be eliminated as false.
咁其實佢呢個做法咧，其實同我一樣嘅，其實冇分別嘅。OK， 好，咁跟住下一步啦，1218。
If you look up in block 3, we now have some locked candidates on candidate 7, which means this candidate 7 has to be false.
咁呢步同我睇到嘅一樣。
Right? And now we've got a naked pair of 1 and 6 in row 5. So we can eliminate that 6, that 1, that 1, that 6, that 1, and that 6.
呢部都同我睇到一樣，row 516 matching pair。
Okay? And now that we've eliminated a lot of 6s, let's take a look at the filter for candidate 6. And you will see that we have a swordfish. So it's in row 2, row 5, and row 9, and that allows us to eliminate this candidate 6.
嗱，停一停，佢老人家咧就睇到 swordfish，咁啊查咗呢個，咁我咧就睇到 as a sky 簡單啲，其實我覺得好好喎佢啊今次，我 interpret 呢個係1、2、3、4係 skyscraper， 所以查到呢個6。其實你唔 remove 呢一行唔變去做 swordfish 都得嘅，不過你睇到個 swordfish 一樣咯 ，swordfish 一樣咯，都係查到呢個6。但係我覺得佢 interpret as 一個 skyscraper 其實已經 good enough。
Okay? Now the next step is going to be a W wing. We have 2 identical bi-value cells on 1 and 6 here and here, and they are connected by this conjugate pair of 1 and 1.
嗱，呢個 W wing 同我個 W wing 咧結果一樣，但係嗰個 logic 係唔一樣㗎。我嗰個 W wing 咧係睇到呢一行，我係 involve row 4呢度冇1 ，OK？ 咁所以 case 1呢個係1，呢度冇1 ，OK？ 咁所以呢個係1，所以呢個係6 ，case 2呢個係6，咁所以就係可以查走一啲，咁所以就可以查走一啲同時見到呢一格同埋見到呢一格嘅6，咁所以可以查走呢一個6。佢老人家咧其實係用緊 W wing with chain， 鏈頭呢個係6 ，strong link 去1，weak link 去呢個1，跟住 strong link 去呢個1，weak link 去1，到最後 strong link 去呢個6。其實佢係用緊 W wing with chain，OK？ 呢個鏈頭6，呢個鏈尾6去查呢個6。咁我同佢查嘅一樣，但係中間背後嗰個 logic 咧係 slightly different，直情係 different。
So that means one of the 2 yellow 6s must be true, which means this 6 has to be false.
咁個結論一樣，都係查呢個6。
Okay? And then that produces an X-wing on candidate 6 in column 3 and column 8. So that means we can remove this candidate 6, leaving this 6 as a hidden.
其實又唔使嘅，呢個6咧本身呢一行都係得一個6㗎啦，唔查呢一個本身呢個都係 remaining single 㗎啦。不過呢個唔重要。
Single. Everybody good on that? So now let's get rid of those colors. Now this naked triple of 1, 4, and 7 has been sitting here in column 4 for a while, so let's get that out of the way before we move on.
咁小事啦，大家都係正常人，睇漏唔出奇。OK， 嗱填完呢度之後咧，佢就嚟了啦。跟住咧，佢老人家都要揾一條勁嘅 AIC。咁我 skip 一 skip 先，我俾大家睇下佢條 AIC 點嚟，睇佢解一次俾大家聽。
Begins and ends on candidate 4. So let's go back and highlight the 4s. And we're going to start here on this 4 up here in row 1, column 4, and make a strong link to this 4. Then weak to the 8. Now let's highlight the 8s. We've got a strong link down to this 8, a weak link to this 8, and a strong link to that 8. Okay? Then we've got a weak link to the 3, a strong link to this 3. Let's highlight the 3s. And then we have a weak link to this 2, and now let's highlight the 2s. We have a strong link to this 2, a weak link to this 2, and a strong link to that 2. And then we have a weak link to this 4, and let's highlight the 4s again, and we have a strong link up to this 4. So the chain begins on this blue 4 in row 1, and it ends on the yellow 4 in row 2. So here's what the chain looks like. So there's an effective strong link between those 2 endpoint 4s, which means that any other candidate 4 that can see both of them can be eliminated as false.
得啦，就係佢老人家啦。嗱呢條 AIC 同我揾嗰條大海撈針 AIC 差唔多嘅，個結論差唔多，咁就係佢咁揾出嚟咯。AIC 就係咁，其實佢都係大海撈針，你都係睇佢變魔術去揾一條 AIC 出嚟。做完之後嘅鏈頭呢個係4，呢個鏈尾係呢個4，咁所以呢一個4，呢一個4同埋呢一個4就 可以查咗佢啦。咁跟住佢會做少少口水解釋嘅，咁我 skip 一 skip 先。好。
And now we're left with a bunch of naked singles. We've got one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. And now we've got a naked pair of 1 and 3 in column 2, so we know that must be a 4. And we have another naked pair of 1 and 8 over here in row 8, so we can eliminate this 1 and enter the 2 in that cell. And now we have another hidden single on 2 in row 8, which leaves a hidden single on 4 in the same row and another hidden single on 4 up here in block 5. So now the 2s, the 4s, and the 5s are all done. So let's get rid of those colors, and let's go back to the filter on candidate 1, and we have a skyscraper on candidate 1. Here are the 2 endpoints, and here are the 2 connecting cells. So those 2 1s in the yellow cells are the endpoints, and we know that one of them must be true, which means we can eliminate any other candidate 1 that can see both of them, and there is only one, and it's right here.
咁最後咧，佢都係睇到個 skyscraper 啦。咁查埋呢個1咧，成個 puzzle 就會做完㗎啦。咁跟住佢就不停咁填 single 啦。咁我 skip 咗佢啦。到最後，我想睇睇佢個 concluding remark，睇下佢點講。其實我都幾串喎。不如你睇咗先，你睇下你睇完之後，你覺得佢串唔串
？I see. It was all pretty much just simple stuff. And there you have it. By using the techniques that I describe in my complete course, I would rate this puzzle about medium difficulty.
黐乸線，我做得咁辛苦，佢老人家竟然話係 medium。
Puzzles that are any harder than this cannot generally be solved with only the Snyder method and will most likely require the use of chains, loops, and other patterns that will be virtually impossible to find without being able to see all the remaining possible candidates and knowing how to carefully analyze them.
嗱，重點啦，佢老人家嗰套玩 AIC、揾 chain、玩 loop，一定係要列出所有可能性先至用得。呢個就係佢老人家嗰一套嘅 method 咯。
So please check out my complete course when you can. And for those of you who still like to do printed puzzles found in newspapers, books, and magazines, please keep an eye out for my new pencil and paper method.
好啦，完啦。咁基本上咧就係咁樣啦。嗱，咁呢一個咧就係 Sudoku Swami 嘅做法啦。其實我都係學佢嘅，我到最後都係列出所有可能性，到最後都係玩清玩 loop。OK， 嗱咁呢個係 Sudoku Swami， 我同佢差唔多嘅。跟住我哋睇睇Cryptic 嘅 Cryptic 點樣解同一條題目。好，睇完 Sudoku Swami 點樣 solve 之後咧，我睇睇 Cryptic 嘅 Cryptic assignment 點 solve 啦。嗱，呢條片咧好鬼死長㗎，40分鐘㗎。我有諗過好似 Swami 咁樣咧，即係寫低啲時間咧，跳住睇啦，等大家睇得舒服啲。但係我發現就好難跳啊，好難跳啊。咁我盡量將個時間減少啦。咁啊，我哋開始啦。咁首先咧，睇睇一開頭係點 solve 啦。我會 skip 咗嚟呢一 part 先嘅，因為之前呢啲全部都係啲好 straightforward 嘅 strategy，OK， 都係要用一啲嘅上中下左中右基本檢查，咁都 mark 到㗎啦，咁所以唔慳翻幾分鐘啦。咁而家開始睇佢點 solve 啦。
Top here probably you can see we've got the numbers 1, 6, 5, and 9 in row 1, and 4, 8, and 7. In column 1, so this square is very restricted. This square can only be a 2 or a 3. I'll just label that for the moment. And interesting.
可以講兩句，其實咧佢呢個辦法咧就我自己都係開始做完左中右基本檢查啦，同我差唔多嘅。佢開始去睇一啲逐行逐棟去檢查咯。咁佢可能佢睇得比我立體嘅，可能佢睇某一格。呢度有4個字寫咗，呢度有3個字寫咗，所以佢話呢一格好 restricted。我自己就中意一行一棟咁睇，咁佢可能就進取啲咯，高明啲咯，可能睇某一格咁睇下會唔會係可能填到個數字啊，或者喺呢個 case 度填到2個咁啦。佢冇我咁一板一眼嘅，咁大家可以睇睇啲天才係點樣去處理一條數獨問題。
Interesting thing here is that actually this square is also restricted, isn't it? Because we have the numbers 1, 5, and 6 already in the block. So what can this square be? It can't be 1, can't be 2 or 3, can't be 4, 5, or 6, or 7 or 8. This square can only be a 9. There's a hidden single there. Oh, that's nice. Okay. That's our first good breakthrough, because now you can see that we can pencil mark 9s into those two squares. And then just using this 9, what's going to happen is this is going to have to be the 9 in this square. We immediately be able to write the 5 in and the 2 in the earlier pencil marks. We can go 9, 5, 2.
都睇得明嘅呢幾步都咁啊，定咗呢個9，跟住就做9嘅衍生效應 ramification， 填埋呢個2，填埋呢個5。
In fact, this square here, this 2 now helps with that. That must be a 3. And now we just have to be diligent. We must make sure we get every pencil mark we can from those numbers that we've just identified. So let's do this carefully.
咁即係做一啲衍生效應啦，填完 number 之後繼續 spot 落去啦。不過佢呢個 program 啊辛苦啲啦，冇 highlight， 人手填就用眼睇辛苦啲啦。
We've done the 9s as far as they'll go. This has to be a 5 in the central block because of the 5 here, the 5 here, and the 5 here. That means this is a 5. What's going on there? Look. 2, 5, 2, 2. 2's into one of these two positions. 2's into one of those two positions. Just take a look quickly at column 1. You can see we need the numbers 1, 2, and 9. Now this square here has not 1, 2, and 9, actually 1, 2, and 6. Same effect though. The 1 and the 6 here. So this square here must be a 2.
都睇得明嘅呢一招都。
That means that this is a 1 and a 6. This is a 1 and a 6. This 9 resolves the 9 pencil marks from earlier at the bottom. And I'm going to diverge now from the standard technique, and I'm going to label this 1-6 pair in the column just because it's such a powerful pair, and I need to keep track of that sort of thing. Or I suspect I do anyway. 6, 2, 2, 2's into those two positions. Annoyingly, there's no symmetry in the positions of the 2's now in these bottom 3x3's. I was hoping we could match one set of 2's up, which would give us an effect in X-Wing, but we can't do that. I'm just going to check column 8. So you can see we need 1, 6, 7, and 9. So this, we'll label 1 and 7. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So this is the only really restricted pair.
佢自己係中意係咯，都係一樣，佢就唔會話逐行逐棟睇，去揀緊啲行有啲洞有啲格比較多易填寫嘅數字，亦即係佢講 restriction 比較多嘅，咁啊淨係 focus 喺嗰啲行洞同埋格咯，佢唔會填所有可能性嘅，好得意嘅，一陣你會有個感覺。
Let's check row 1 as well. So we've got 4, 7.
Row 1一樣啦 ，Row 1填咗6個數字，咁佢未睇咯。
8 place. This is a 4 and 8. This is a 4 or a 7. That's interesting. Come back to that. And this is a 7 or an 8. Okay. So this is classic Y-wing territory. Why do I say that?
Terminology 佢唔叫 XY wing 嘅，佢係叫 Y wing 嘅，一樣嘅啫。或者佢叫 band triple 同埋 Y wing， 其實我就叫 XY wing。佢見到咧 row one 咧，見到好多都係47、48、78咧，佢覺得係好有機會係 XY wing， 咁佢就會 trigger 到佢去睇有冇機會係 XY wing。
Look what we've got along the first row of the grid here. We've got 3 squares, all of which have 2 possibilities, and all of which have the same numbers in common. So if I can find another square in any of these 3x3 blocks that's limited to the same or to 2 of these 3 numbers, then I'm very likely to have a Y-wing and or a bent triple. That might be a best way to describe it. So let's check this block first. So what have we got? We've got 4, 7, and 8 to place. So that there you go. 4, 7, 8 to place. And this one, yeah, okay. So let's look at this. So the key here.
佢咪揾到個 XY wing 咯？呢個78，呢個48，呢個47，佢就揾到個 XY wing 咯。
Is that we need to now you may say, well, haven't we got a bent triple using this square? No, okay, because here we've got the same.
skip 啦，有
This
少
is
少
critical.
吹
So
水
now we have the 3 possibilities, and whatever we choose here, we'll put 7 in, and this can know as a double. So I know this is either 1 or 7. I've just proved it can't be a 7.
就係 XY wing 啦。
This
78484847 case one 呢個係4，呢個就係7 case two 呢個係8，呢個係7，所以一係呢個7，一係呢個7，所以佢查咗呢個7，跟住佢會填埋個大1嘅啦。
must be a 1. And I'm going to continue. I'm just going to do some pencil marking, and then we're going to come back and look at these 2 squares. Because what have we got here? We've got 3, 4 and 7 to place, but we now know neither of these squares can take a 7 because of the Y-wing logic. So this must be 3 and 4, and look.
跟住就係matching pair 呢度呢一格冇可能係4，所以填7。
Have a 4 here. So this is a 4, and this is a 3. And therefore, this is a 7 after all that.
我睇錯咗添啊！呢樣原來填得嘅，sorry。
And again, all we have to do now is just be careful. So I'm going to go back to original pencil marking and just check whether or not this gives me anything really helpful. So now we have a 4-8 pair in this block and this block. 3 is locked here. No. A lot of numbers in column 8. You can see we need to still place 6, 7 and 9. So this is a 6 or a 7. I will notate that. And we've got 6, 7 and 8 to place here. Again, can't do anything there. So let's check column 2. 1, 3, 4 and 8.
你會見到佢咧，佢係唔中意填上所有可能性，佢係中意 limit 自己啲 pencil mark，跟住透過 limit 自己寫咗嗰啲 limited 嘅 pencil mark 去揾端倪嘅。佢同 Swami 好唔同 ，Swami 就一開波就填晒所有可能性，跟住就用技巧揾。佢就反而唔想畫花個 puzzle，啲 pencil mark 佢寫得比較少，透過寫有限嘅 pencil mark，唔好畫花個 puzzle，用有限嘅 pencil mark 去揾技巧，有辣有唔辣嘅，我覺得一陣睇落咧，其實我覺得佢係 struggle 緊嘅。
This square is interesting, isn't it? This can only be a 1 or a
福仔239，
頂你個肺有廣告。
宣耀醒神，舒緩喉嚨頭痛。
4. Again, I'm tempted to highlight that. So the 3 is in either of these 2 positions in column 2. And again, that's the sort of thing you need to keep an eye on for X-wings. So if we could find another column of the grid that had a similar restriction, we might be able to use that, but I'm just scanning it now and I don't think, well,
咪翻人 X-wing 咯，佢見到呢度 column 2 3淨係可以喺row 4同埋 row 7就試下揾 X-wing 咯，就係咪啫咯，佢就係填有限嘅可能性，然之後睇下有冇一啲佢知嘅技巧用到，佢唔會填晒咯。但係你唔填晒又點知呢？我覺得我始終覺得呢，如果你開始辛苦要去咬呢，我覺得係要填上所有可能性，跟住嗰個 check 先至係 comprehensive。你而家撞啫嘛，我填咗呢一 pair 嘅3個我估下有冇 X-wing 先，有就好啦。同埋佢會好辛苦嘅，你撞唔到咁咪冇咯。同埋你睇唔到啲 swordfish， 你睇唔到個 full picture。effectively， 我想講，你唔填晒點樣睇個 full picture 去 check 所有 possible 嘅 strategies 咧？我其實係唔明嘅。佢 limit 咗自己做一個 strategy 叫做 X-wing， 你淨係填一個啫嘛，咁你咪撞 X-wing 咯。但係呢個世界除咗 X-wing， 可能有 fin X-wing， 可能有 swordfish， 你唔填上所有可能性，你就 verify 唔到呢啲 strategies。你而家淨係撞一個 strategy， 我填上所有可能性就可以撞晒所有 strategy。所以其實我唔中意佢呢個辦法嘅。
Look at this column. Because of the 3 here, we know there's a 3 in one of those 3 positions. So that is what's called a finned X-wing on 3s. What does that mean? Probably nothing, but let's just have a quick stare at it. So again, with the finned X-wing, what we need to look at is the fact that either the fin is true, which would mean this was a 3, or if this is not a 3, we have an X-wing on 3s here. And that was, so for example, we should be able to eliminate 3s from this square. This is a critical square, isn't it? Because this square here sees this 3, if it was a 3, or it gets a 3 eliminated by the X-wing. So this square cannot be a 3. Let's just take a quick look at this square. It's not going to give us anything at all. That's irritating.
佢揾到個 X-wing， 但係佢又唔用喎，好得意喎！即係佢好貪心啊！佢見到冇大用嘅，佢就冇用咯。即係其實呢一格咧可以填，如果我填晒所有可能性，係會係1、2、3、4、7、1、2、3、4、7，跟住就變咗1、2、4、7。佢唔肯查呢個3咯，佢1、2、4、7，佢唔填晒咯。其實有啲用嘅，佢唔用啫。
In fact, if we look at the interaction of this 3 here and this 3 here on this block, we actually know that the 3 in this 3 by 3 block is locked into one of those 2 positions. So we know this is not a 3. So in fact, there was another way of telling that this wasn't a 3 before we went into the realms of finned X-wings.
咁係佢個方法啦，佢個 procedure。佢唔做上中下左中右基本檢查所致咯。如果佢跟我我做咗啲上中下左中右基本檢查左數右數嘅，一早就已經知道呢個3係落咗喺 block 7同埋 block 咗喺 row 7同埋 block 7，呢3個冇可能係3，個3一定係呢2格啦。由於佢冇填啊，所以頭先個 Phoenix 真係多餘嘅，冇意思嘅。我覺得佢如果佢做好啲基本檢查，就唔使搞到，即係我覺得我會快過去咯。In this case.
So what does all that mean? Let's remove this 3 so it doesn't get confusing and
doesn't get confusing. 佢好 reluctant to mark pencil mark, which I can't understand.
Take another stare at the grid. Still. Let's take another look at so what do I need here? 6, 7 and 9. Just seems very. There's a 9 in one of these 2 squares. Again, I can't see how to use that. 6, 7, 9. Okay, now. Well, there is a trick you can do here. I don't know if it's helpful or not, probably not, but let's talk about it. There is a technique called empty rectangles that we now have the ability to use on this 3 by 3 square. Now, empty rectangles is quite a highfalutin way of describing this, but what I need you to imagine is where we can place a 1 in this 3 by 3 block. And you can see there are 3 possibilities, these 3 possibilities here. Now, the important thing to note is that if the 1 turns out to be in row 5, i.e. if this 1 or this 1 is true, look at the effect that has over here because of this 1-6 pair. So if either of these is a 1, this square will be a 1. So this is called a strong link between these 2 situations over on the left-hand side. So if, on the other hand, the 1 is in the column, is in column 9. So either of these two ones is true. Then this square is the critical square. This square cannot contain a 1.
我覺得個 empty rectangle 啱嘅，但係我唔會用呢個方法去演繹咯。OK， 我會睇 column 1，呢度有兩個1。OK， 如果 case 1呢一個係1，呢兩個唔係1，呢個係1，所以呢個唔係1。case 2呢個係1，呢個唔係1。我會用個 start from column 1呢兩個1咁樣 case 1掃埋嚟，呢度有個1，呢個唔係1。case 2呢度係1，所以呢個唔係1，咁佢查咗呢個1咯。呢個都係 valid 嘅呢個 empty rectangle。不過佢個演繹同我個演繹有啲唔一樣，所以我要多嘴講兩句。
Because either it'll be eliminated because the 1 will be here or here, or it will be eliminated because this will be a 1 or this will be a 1, and that will force a 1 into this square. So this square here cannot contain a 1. So now let's check what this square can be. So it can't be a 1, can't be a 2, can't be a 3, 4 or 5, can be a 6, can be a 7, can't be an 8 because of the pencil marked 8s, can't be a 9, so it's a 6 or a 7. Okay, so there is a 6-7 pair now in this 3x3 block.
咁佢有進展嘅，都係嗰句，點解唔填上所有可能性呢？
Right, that's nice. Is it enough to get us anything extra? So we know that the other numbers must be 1, 2 and 8 in some order. 2 and 8. So this is a 1 or an 8 now. A pencil mark 2 and 8 here. Is that because this is limited? I better check that in a sec.
你唔填所有可能性咪濕滯咯？你而家先諗翻點解呢度唔可以填1，或者點解？因為佢冇填上所有可能性啊！我都唔記得咗佢點解呢兩個8係點嚟啊！我記得啦，呢個可以係1嚟嘅，呢個可以1嚟嘅。2就係中右左填兩個2，8就係上下中填呢兩個8。佢未填上所有可能性啊！呢個1要填嘅其實。
This can be anything 1, 2 or 8. 1, 2, 4 or 8 here. Why did I think this couldn't be a 1?
No, actually it's not.
Now I don't think I have concluded this can't be a 1, so I think
You're right.
I have to write the 1 in here. So,
辛苦咯，你唔填晒未？
so it's not as good as I was hoping for. 6, 7 is nice, but it's not enough, I don't think. But we had to have 8s here, didn't we? So that can't be an 8.
我個 point 係由於佢冇填上所有可能性，咁所以就算佢揾到一啲 discovery 咧，都冇辦法去反映到喺個 puzzle 度。而呢樣嘢我覺得好可惜。嗱，當然我知佢點解咁 limit 咁 hesitant 去填 pencil mark， 我知嘅，但係好唔好我留翻俾觀眾判斷，我覺得唔好。
Seems a really nice spot with this. So let's just have a look at this, because you can see this does chain a bit, this square here. Because if this is a 6, yeah, it does chain. Look, if this is a 6, this is a 1, this is a 4, this is an 8, and this is a 7. So we can say with certainty either this square is a 7 or this square is a 7.
要停啦！佢好勁，佢竟然係 swap 咗。佢頭先知唔知做緊乜啊？佢係做緊個 XY chain 出嚟。其實佢係一個天才，我唔知點解佢會睇到咁快呢，咁神奇咁快去睇到個 XY chain。其實佢係講緊呢個鏈頭係7 ，strong link 去6 ，weak link 去呢個6 ，strong link 去1 ，weak link 去1 ，strong link 去4 weak link 去4 strong link 去8 weak link 去8 strong link 去7，佢係用嘅一條 XY chain。OK，XY chain 嘅意思就係淨係 involve by value cell，strong link 係 within 一個 by value cell，weak link 就 in between cell，所以鏈頭呢一個係7，鏈尾呢個係7，咁所以咧呢兩格唔可以係7，呢兩格都呢一格啦嚇，呢一格都唔可以係7咁樣咯。佢係做緊一啲好黐線嘅嘢嘅其實。
So again, we use the same logic. We have to
呢一
look
格
around
先
the
有用
grid
咯。
and say,
呢兩格一定唔係7㗎啦，反正 OK。呢一格唔可以係7咯，個結論就係、
any squares that see this square and this square? Well, this one. So this square cannot contain a 7. Now, we hadn't been able to eliminate a 7 from this square before. We'd known it was a 6, a 7, or an 8. So now this is a 6 or an 8, which means the 7 is locked into one of these two positions. So, is that useful? 7 in one of these two positions. So let's look at the rest of the column, this square. Again, I've got to be really careful now with all this hybrid notation going on.
hybrid notation 佢自己都知啊，因為佢唔係填晒所有可能性，所以未有呢個問題咯。嗱，呢個即係可能係佢呢個方法好多 puzzle 都 work，但係咁啱呢個 puzzle 令到佢好辛苦。喺呢個 puzzle 一定係唔好同我拗啦，一定係填晒所有可能性先好嘅。
So this can be a 1, I think. It can't be a 2. It can't be a 3, 4, or 5. It can be a 6. It can't be a 7. We've just described why. It can't be an 8 or a 9. So this is a 1 or a... there you go. 1, 6, double in row 5. Please let that crack it. So this now cannot...
睇到啦，無啦啦俾佢揾到對 matching pair 1、6，咁打橫呢一格全部唔可以係1同6。
A 6. This can't be a 1. But we'd highlighted 1s just to show that the 1s were either along this part of the grid or this part of the grid. So I don't think that's that helpful. Let's just check this square now. So this can't be a 1, can't be a 2, can be a 3, can't be a 4, 5, or 6. Can it be a 7? Yes, I think.
好慘啊！俾佢揾到個1、6，但係都好似唔係太多用。但係重要㗎，聰明㗎佢。
An 8, no, can't be a 9. So this all of that concludes that this is a 3 or a 7. And I'm going to double check what this can be as well. Sorry if I seem to be going backwards and forwards, but I hope you understand that I'm trying to keep quite a lot of information in my head at the same time here, and solving it on the computer doesn't help that. So I think that's a 1, 3, or 6. 3, 6, or 9. So nearly useful, isn't it? 6. How can this not be helpful?
幾慘喎！睇到個大師 struggle。繼續啦。
Check the rest of row 5, I think. So now we've got this 1, 6 pair. We need to place 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. 3, 8, 9 here, I think. Yeah. 3, well, this can be anything. 3, 4, 7, 9, 4, 7, 8. Blimey, I'm not.
你睇得出佢根本上就唔想填所有可能性，佢覺得畫花咗啊，咁就會破壞咗佢原本個 objective 就係 limit pencil mark，然後透過 limited 嘅 pencil mark 去揾 strategy，佢嗰個佢而家就唔嗲唔掉啦，佢有少少屈服要填，但係佢又唔肯填晒。其實去到呢一刻佢要填晒㗎啦。
I might be missing something there, but that doesn't look helpful.
同埋會好亂咯，好亂嘅，佢而家會搞到自己好辛苦。
Oh, hang on. Well, let's check this because let's just think about sixes now. So I've got, if I look at this column 7, I've got a 6 here and a 6 here. That's the only two positions that sixes can go because of this 6-7 pair down here. And at least this 6, the 6 in column 1 matches with the 6 here. So there is a swordfish possibility.
佢又撞咯喎，佢又覺得似 swordfish， 佢就會叮一聲，佢就揾 verify 係咪真係有 swordfish 啦。聰明㗎呢個人。
1, 6, 1, 6 here. So which are the interesting rows here? We're looking at row 9, row 5, and row 2. I need to find another column where the 6s are limited to exactly those positions. I don't really want to be getting into fin swordfishes, but let's just take a quick stare. 6.
其實係冇嘅咯。
Sure it works. I mean, this is a fin swordfish now because we want.
佢係 fin swordfish， 但係都冇用。fin swordfish 啦，個 base 個 swordfish 係呢兩格。OK，column 4、column 9、column 4、column 2，但係呢個係2、9。OK，呢個係 base 嘅 swordfish， 呢個係篤眼篤鼻個 fin， 所以呢兩格唔可以係6。咁但係反正呢個1、6 matching pair 已經 eliminate 咗呢兩個6㗎啦，所以就算佢揾到個 finned swordfish 都冇用，好不幸。
6 to be here, not here. And if this is a 6, I could eliminate this 6, I guess.
係啊。
But the swordfish doesn't allow me to eliminate this 6, so the logic breaks. That's so annoying. Let me just think about this a bit more. With this 6 is annoying me now.
我覺得佢嘅 struggle 係源自於佢唔填上所有可能性，同埋佢唔肯用清咯。呢條題目之前都睇過啦，唔用清唔得㗎，所以就我自己認為合適嘅做法係填上所有可能性，用晒一啲用清之前嘅 strategy， 唔得窮途末路，要用清先至可以解決到咯。佢而家仲係連填上所有可能性都唔肯做，淨係用佢已知嘅 strategy 咧，佢已經好聰明，盡量揾㗎啦，但係都唔足夠咯。
So 616 616 66. That's so frustrating. Oh well, can I switch it round then? Is there 6s have got to be limited in the rows as well. Let's just take, so 6 in row 2 is here or here. Okay, that's okay, isn't it? So yeah, that there is a, believe it or not, I think there is a swordfish, but in the rows, not the columns. Is that right? So I'm going mad here. There's a 6 is in one of these two positions in row 2. So that's column 7 or column 9. Now let's scan down to row 9 of the grid, and this 6 here is massive. And in fact, this 6, 7 is massive because there can't be a 6 here. The 6 in row 9 is limited to this square or this square, i.e. column 1 or column 9. So we have a common column.
其實佢好聰明嘅，真係。佢呢個人係極端聰明，佢會好多時諗到啲靈光一閃嗰下。佢呢個 swordfish 揾得好好。column 7、column 9、column 1、column 7、column 1、column 9係 swordfish 嚟㗎， 所以呢隻綠茶得嘅，其實好嘢嘅，我覺得佢。
Already in column 9. So what we need is to make sure that there is another row of the grid where the sixes are limited to some subset of column 1, column 7 and column, because of course it's a 1-6 pair. So in fact in this row the sixes are limited to column 1 and column 7. So there is a swordfish in the rows. Now that means I can look at the columns and I can eliminate sixes wherever they appear in these columns. So obviously there's nothing doing here. Here there's only 2 positions. Again, not surprising because that's where I was looking for the swordfish. But here I can eliminate this 6 now. Brilliant. Okay. So now I have a 1 or a 3 here. Now, is this the critical step to cracking the puzzle? Well, I don't know, but I'm immediately looking at the fact that this now chains quite clearly. So, I mean, for example, so now what can this 1-3 do? I can see it's going to chain round a bit. Let's just check the rest of row 6 here. So we need 1, 3, 6 and 9. Damn, 3, 6, 9 here I think. 1, 3, 9. 1. Oh, that must be useful. Maybe I could have used this earlier. In fact, this is very powerful. Okay, yeah.
佢應該係想揾緊 XY chain。
So now we've got a chain. It does get rid of a number. Can't yet. Yeah, maybe. Okay. Sorry, I'm staring at this and being completely inarticulate. I'm looking at this square, and I could see immediately once I had this down to 1, 3, I can see how by selecting a 3 in this square, it was chaining round the grid because the 3 here is forcing a 7 here. It's forcing a 6 here, it's forcing a 1 here, it's forcing a 6 here. So I could see that, and obviously that would feed back into this square. But initially I couldn't see how that was particularly helpful. But now, look, once we add this square in, we can start the chain here, and it does become useful. Because now, watch what happens.
佢應該係點呢？佢睇到佢又好 magically 睇到個 XY chain。OK， 鏈頭係6 ，strong link 係嗱 XY chain 嚟嘅嚇。我唔講 strong link weak link 啊，大家明啦。鏈頭係6去1，1去3，3去7，7去6，6去1，1去6。鏈頭呢個6，鏈尾呢個6，所以係一條 XY chain。呢兩格同埋呢一格唔可以係6，OK？ 呢兩個6唔緊要啊，反正1、6 matching pair 都已經查咗個6啦，佢可以查走呢一個6。
If this can obviously be a 6. If it's not a 6, we just start the chain one earlier. This is going to be the 1. This will be a 3, 7, 6, etc. And this ends up being a 6. So we know that either this square is a 6 or this square is a 6. And therefore, this square here cannot contain a 6. We can remove the 6 from
好嘢㗎，真係好嘢㗎。
square.
唔好意思啊，其實我應該一早教 full screen， 對唔住。
It's just a 3 and a 9. And now you now look at row 6 of the grid. We've got only one square of 6s left to go, and it's this square because we've got 3, 9, 1, 3, 9, 1, 3. So this
好嘢喎，佢做完呢個就揾到個 triplet 喎，139、139、139。
square is a 6. That's lovely.
好嘢啊！佢咁樣揾到個 breakthrough 係好嘢嘅。
that'd be useful. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. This must be helpful.
It is useful, it is helpful, but it is not enough to crack the puzzle, unfortunately.
Let's just check the rest of so 1, 4, 7 and 8. I'm going to pencil mark these in now. 1, 7, 8. 1, 4, 7. 1, 7 and 8. My goodness me. Okay, well, I'm starting to understand why this puzzle was foxing the computer. It's certainly foxing me. I think I'm going to have to enter even more pencil marks in just to try and get something else going on. Let's try up here. So 1, 4, 7, 1, 4, 7, 4, 7. That's no use. Let's try the rest of column 4. What do we need? 1, 3, 4, 7, 8. God.
佢而家有少少屈服啦，第一步佢開始填可能性啦。
So unrestricted, it's not true. 1, 3, this can't be 3 because we did work out that there was a 3 in one of these two squares, so at least I get rid of another digit here. So 1, 4, unfortunately that looks completely okay. 7 is fine, 8 isn't fine because of the 8 here. Okay, 1, 4, 7, 1, 4, 7. Is that a way of getting rid of any more? Oh, look, we have got a 1, 4, 7 triple now in column 4. God.
好嘢，佢呢個睇到呢個係好嘢，佢未填晒，又揾到啲嘢喎，所以好鬼唔嗲唔吊喎，好鬼尷尬啊！佢今次。
Just spotted that earlier. So that allows me to eliminate 1 and the 7 here. That's a 3 or an 8 then, which means this must be a 3 or an 8. It's just ironic, isn't it? These 3 and 8s just match with nothing that we've actually got yet. So, 7. So, what do we need to do now? I'm not sure. I think what I would probably be doing is trying to force a chain to give me a contradiction again. But as I'm scanning around the grid here, I'm struggling to see quite how to do that now.
教大家少少嘢啊！如果有人同你講佢 try to force a chain, form a force a chain 同埋 lead to a contradiction， 其實佢咪即係 trial and error 咯。Forcing chain 就係 trial and error。OK，is 係假㗎，trial and error 就 trial and error 啦。
What we could do just looking here, I'm trying to use this 3 and an 8, 3, 8 somehow, and I'm finding it really hard to see how to use it, but you can see I can see how there are only 2 positions for a 3 in row 9. That's this square and this square. I think that's right. And I'm just wondering, as we're looking at this, how many positions in row 9 can take a 2? So this can't, this can obviously, this can't, this can, this can't, and this can't. So this square feels to me to be important. Okay, let's just try this. So if this is a 1, what happens? If this is a 1, this will be an 8 and this will be a 2. So this will be a 1. Trying to get back into these squares. I'm just going to check the rest of column 2 here. So what numbers am I missing? I'm missing 1, 3.
我想講咧，佢其實而家已經 trial and error。你 trial and error 其實你係應該填上所有可能性。我講咗10次咁滯啦。點解唔填所有可能性咧？連做 trial and error 你都辛苦過人。
4 and 8. 1, 3 and 8. 1, 3 and 4. I'm probably missing extra eliminations I could make here, which is going to really annoy me. So let's just go back to it. 1, 8 and 2 here. So that's going to force a 4 and a 1 here. That's going to force this to be a 3. Now, if this is a 3, what does that do? This has to be an 8. Yeah, that's correct. This has to be an 8. This will be much easier with highlighting that later. I'm trying to do this in my head, which isn't easy. This will be a 3. Therefore, this will be an 8. But if this square is an 8, we've got a massive problem now, because what does that do? Well, that forces the 3 into this square. This is a 3. And we know if this is a 3, there are only 2 places that a 2 can go in row 9. And that's this square, which we've just said is a 3, or this square, which we started the...
搞掂。佢搞咁耐咧，到最後就係要 trial and error。如果呢一個係1，跟住到最後佢發現原來咧係有 contradiction，冇地方擺2，所以呢格唔可以係1，呢一格係2。搞咁耐，其實好令人失望。佢係要用 trial and error。Sudoku Swami 佢講過嘅，如果用咩 forcing train 啊、trial and error 啊，佢話呢啲係 cheating，佢覺得係呃人嘅。佢用個指控好強，佢話係 cheating。我自己嘅睇法係 trial and error 係一個 valid method，OK？我唔會話佢冇 logic 嘅 ，is logical 都係嘅，係 valid method，絕對 valid method。但係唔型咯 ，not fun， 唔型咯。如果你係覺得 trial and error 係一個 valid method 嘅，使鬼學咁辛苦，又學 chain， 又 XY chain， 又 AIC type 1、AIC type 2咩？其實如果你諗住 trial and error 就可以救嘅，好多 method 你係唔需要識嘅。kick 未撞未 trial and error 咯，你學好少 method 都得㗎，咁就會失去咗玩數獨遊戲嘅樂趣啦。OK， 所以我覺得如果你想玩數獨遊戲有樂趣嘅，你係應該當 trial and error 係死罪，咁樣玩數獨遊戲先至有挑戰性，同埋係好玩咁咯。呢個係我嘅睇法咯。我係都傾向覺得 trial and error 係 cheating 嘅，其實 it's not cheating but it's not fun。係咯，我冇個 Sudoku Swami 講到咁嚴重，但係我自己定義，如果我要用 trial and error 嘅，其實我當自己失敗嘅啦。咁佢用咗 trial and error 咯。睇埋佢得6分鐘嘅。
Paying off by saying was a 1. So this square, through that absurd logic, cannot be a 1. It must be a 2.
trial and error 啫嘛。
Now, there must be something easier than that to crack this puzzle open. I appreciate.
That is AIC。AIC，你唔用佢好鄙視 AIC 未 solve 唔到呢條咯。
That's far from satisfactory, but I'm already over half an hour on this, so I'm going to I'm going to make the argument that that's fair enough and say that that is a 2. Maybe that will be the critical step. So that now gives us a 1-8 pair along here, which means that we can start to make some eliminations at last. So this is a 4 and this is a 2. Yeah, I mean, this is already starting to look better, isn't it? Gives us a 1-7 here. And let's make sure that we use everything we can. 1-3 here, 1-7. We need to place a 7 here, so this is going to have to be a 7. 6 and 8 there. 7, 1, 7. 2, 2, 2, 2. So this must be a 2. Oops. This must be a 2. Make sure we actually use the pencil marks we just found. So this 4 here, I can eliminate this now. So we've now got 1-7 pair and a 3-8 pair going down column 4 there. And that means, doesn't it, I think this is the only place a 4 can go. Yes, that's right, so that's a 4. Therefore the central square of the grid is a 4. That's the only place a 4 can go in the middle block. Very nearly there now. I've got to be, again, I've got to be so careful with this hybrid of pencil marks that I've got in this grid. It's really, I suspect it's slowing me down now because I'm getting confused. Now we said, didn't we, that in terms of where it, no, I can just remove this 2, that's not going to help. And let's just check column 5 now. So we've got to place 1, 3, 7 and 9. Oh, wow, it can be anything. This one, a 1, 3 or 7, I think. Okay, and then we've got, you can use this this sort of 1, 3 and 1, 6 symmetry. You can see that we've got this going on through the grid here. If we look here, this could be a 3, or it could be a 1, but the moment it's a 1, it chains through this 1, 6s and the 1, 3s. So watch what happens. So if this is a 1, this is a 6, this is a 1, and this is a 3.
佢臨尾呢度咧都有個 XY chain，鏈頭呢個係3 ，OK，XY chain 嚟㗎，3去1，1去6，6去1，1去3，所以鏈頭呢個係3，鏈尾呢個係3，呢一格唔可以係3，同埋呢一格都唔可以係3。
So we know either this square's a 3 or this square's a 3. So this one in particular can't contain a 3. So that's a 9. Let's just make sure we use everything we can. Now we've got a 1, 3, 7 triple down the center there. So this must be a 9. Allows me to remove a 9 from this square as well. Yeah, finally we're starting to make a bit more progress, I think. That means this is a 9. What are we left with down this column? 3, 6 and 8, is that right? That seems to be, anything seems to go there. 3, 1, 3, 7. 7
同埋嗰個講多句，佢對自己要求比較高啦。我如果用 Enjoy Sudoku 咧，我填完啲 number 之後，啲 pencil mark 會自動消失嘅，咁會方便啲咯。因為我覺得呢啲位我可以容許自己懶啲咯，我唔想自己手動去 delete pencil mark，實會 delete 漏喎，咁會好辛苦。同埋有 highlight 咯 ，Enjoy Sudoku 會 delete pencil mark once you fill in the big number。同埋有 highlight 啦，咁會快好多。佢而家咁樣好辛苦。
To one of these two positions, this must be a 1 or an 8. I mean, we can probably force this again now using similar techniques to last time. I don't think I've ever had to do so much chaining though. So I mean, the fact this is a 1 or an 8, I think is going to be helpful because you can see it's either an 8 or if it's a 1, this gives us a 6 here, a 1 here, a 3 here, and this is an 8. So we get this juxtapositions of 8s either here or here, and that influences, well, this square.
哇！你等陣睇多次先，佢好犀利啊，又嚟了啦。OK， 8去1， 1去6， 6去1， 1去3， 3去8。鏈頭呢個係8，鏈尾呢個係8，咁所以呢兩個唔可以係8，同埋呢兩個都唔可以係8。
This square, but this square is the most pertinent because this can't contain an 8 now. So this must be a 7. We know what the square above it also can't contain an 8 for the same reason. So this is going to be a 1. And that means 3 there, 1, and finally I suspect the puzzle has broken.
好啦，夠啦，佢搞掂啦。講多一句，我好似對阿 Simon 啦 Cryptic 同 Cryptic 好多批評，但係我必須講咧 ，Simon 呢個人係極端聰明嘅。佢唔係好似我呢啲咁一板一眼嘅人咁，要 list 晒 procedure 先至做到。佢可以睇到一啲咧嗰個 puzzle setter set 出嚟嗰啲 trick。佢成日都會有一啲好聰明嘅神來之筆嘅。其實呢個 Simon 係神人嚟嘅，只不過咁啱呢個 puzzle 就有少少考起佢，同埋佢顯得好狼狽。佢中意睇神來之筆，佢唔中意填所有可能性。佢幾輕視 AIC，which 我 totally fail to understand 咁樣咯。咁就今日實在太長啦，由於要睇佢 struggle，咁啊嚟到呢度啦，咁啊 update 得比較慢，唔好意思，對唔住。咁啊希望之後就再勤力啲玩多啲例子同大家分享。有問題留言啦，我會睇嘅。多謝大家，拜拜。